What's going on? This is GameWithSki, and I am playing Path of Exile. Well, I was playing Path of Exile. I may not be playing anymore. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out and fix my build, because I came up with the build, and there's gonna be a new update, and a lot of stuff's changed, and I don't really want to spend the time to go over it, so maybe somebody can help me with my build. That's the only way I'm gonna play it, really, is if somebody helps me with my build. I'm gonna show you what I got, okay? And it's pretty good. So I got this working really well, okay? I'm not that far. So I took a standard league build. I had a character that was 70 something, and I've got a standard build, and I decided to see what I can do to do some more maps. So I made a duelist champion, and he is using iced frost blades, okay, frost blades. And I'll show you what this build, I'll show you the build, and then I'll show you what it can do, and then if you could help me to see what it could do in the future. This is just gear that I threw together. This is normal gear that you can expect to come to get besides this armor. But this character is extremely tanky. I don't know how tanky it'll be in the next update, but I will show you what it is, okay? Here's the skill tree. First, I'll show the Ascendancy skill tree. I chose the champion because he's the best. All right, he was the best for melee, okay? Why is he the best? Because of all the damage mitigation, okay? So the first thing I did is, when I did my Ascendancy points, I went up here. So 100% to taunt on hit. 10% reduced damage taken if you taunted an enemy recently. So boom. And then enemies taunted by you deal 20% less damage with hits and ailments. So that's like almost 30% reduced damage right there. That is insane. 30% reduced damage as long as you've hit a guy. 30% reduced damage. That is insane. I can't even wrap my head around it and why I didn't see this before, but it's ridiculous. Okay, so I went there. Then my next 2 points, I moved to the left here because 20% increased attack speed while fortified. Now, we will always have fortify as long as we've attacked once. So that's 20% increased attack speed for 2 points. That is insane. Again, insane. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, how insane the champion was, and I don't know how I missed it, and I went to the Raider. The Raider kind of sucked compared to this. Really did. And then after that, I went over here to enemies taunted by you take 20% increased damage and cannot evade attacks. Again, that is massive, so you don't need accuracy anymore. And that's a 20% damage. That's a 20% more damage multiplier right there. Free. A free 20% more damage multiplier. And then the next 2 points I was going to get, which I'm not there yet, would be your hits permanently intimidate enemies that are on full life and gain adrenaline when you reach low life. Cover 20% of life. Remove all ailments when you get adrenaline. I forget what adrenaline does. That's one of those things where you need to get a degree in Path of Exile Academy. But let's see what adrenaline does. Let me... Increase damage, movement, attack, and speed. 20% increased attack speed when you get low life. It's huge. And 10% additional damage reduction. So we're talking. So we already have 30% right here at this point. Then when you get low life, which is only 55% of life, by the way, if you get a stat that I'll show you, when you get low life, which is only 50%, you'll get another 25 attack speed and take an additional 10% less damage. Plus the fortify, so plus 40, so then you get another 17% less damage. So I didn't fall for this. This is a trap. Fortitude is a trap. You have 20 fortification. That is a trap. Do not get it because you're in the duelist. You're at the duelist tree. You are right here. You're right here. So it's just 4 points where you get melee hits fortify. So you have free fortification. Why waste an Ascendancy passives when you have the free fortify right there? Okay, so free fortify, 4 points. I guess you could save your points if you don't get that. But I think it's better just to get the free points. So that's the Ascendancy passive. I think everything else was kind of not as good. I think this was insanely overpowered, and I thought I had something special, and then they nerfed it. So I guess I knew I had something special. Right there. All right, next in line. So we take our tree, and we get our life and armor and speed. I mean, this is great right here. So I used to do the Raider because the Raider had... if you went down this way, the Raider used to have... This used to all be life on the Raider, but they removed that. It used to be life and evasion. Now it's only evasion. Evasion sucks, okay? Because eventually, no matter how much evasion you have, eventually you're not going to evade an attack and you're going to get hit, and that hit's going to one-shot you. Stupid. Evasion is probably the dumbest thing they came up with, Pad the Vega. There should be no evasion. It should be armor. And if you have less armor, you should have more evasion, is automatically. It should automatically be like a dodge chance, okay? Anyways, end rant of that, okay? So we go through here. We get Art of the Gladiator. This is massive. No movement penalties from armor. And then you get 20 dex, and then we'll get some intelligence. We'll get the life. We'll go here and get this, and then we'll get this intelligence, I believe. This is huge. I mean, these are like the best passives in the game. Regenerate 1% life per second, and you get melee strike range and 22 strength. It's just huge. There's like 3 awesome... These are all good. 20 intelligence, just they're all good. Then you go down here and get the awesome fortify. You're just a beastly tank through the whole game. You could get the shield block chance. I decided to not get it. And we'll get it later, though. I think that's at the end, near end game is when we would hit this, Defiance. I guess if you didn't get this fortify, you could go through here, down. Or if you'll dual wield, you would go through here and down. Which, that wouldn't be a bad move, actually. Yeah, it would. It's just, Alright, and then we go down, and then we get, boom, free lots of resistances. Armor, evasion, and resistances. And then we get this massive life cluster right here, and I never took the 50 life, like an idiot. Holy crap, I never took it. So you get the plus 50 maximum life. I never took it. I guess I totally forgot. Oh, well. Okay, so I never took it yet. Then we go down. And we don't get these clusters until later. Or this cluster here. We go over, and we go straight for this melee. So non-veil skills target 1 additional nearby enemy. So that's why you don't really want to take any of this stuff. You want to go straight for this attack mastery because now you're hitting 2 targets at the same time. That is insanely powerful. Like, I don't know how I missed this when I was looking at it before. It's because this never used to exist, and I had no idea. It never used to exist. Again, you have to have a PhD in Path of Exile to come up with these builds. You have to like sit here and look at every... You have to spend hours and hours going through and looking at each single passive to figure it out. Then we go through here, and we do not take point blank because we are ice blades. Now, if we were, I think we could do the same build with Molten Strike, and I think it would be just as good. I think Molten Strike would be just as good with Lightning. I think we could do a Lightning Molten Strike build. I think that would be fun. But I went the Frost way because leveling, I think leveling, it's easier to just stick with the ice, and then at endgame, you can swap to a different skill. Because all of this is right here on the tree. It's right where in your path. You don't have to diverge from the path at all, okay? So I went here, and I went straight for the Fangs of Frost. And 40% of physical damage converted to cold damage. Why? Because we have weapon elemental damage. Then we go up. I skipped this node here because I was so tanky already with the Fortify. We don't need to get this life until later. When we go up, and we're going to get more damage. And we're going to go up here to Primeval Force. We're going around to the left because we want to get that chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. We have plenty of increased elemental damage. You don't need to get that. That's like, it's barely adding anything, okay? Adding plus damage is barely adding anything. You'd want more damage. Here's exposure you inflict applies at least negative 18%. So when you do the Hydrosphere, cast when damage taken Hydrosphere, it'll automatically go to minus 18%. Instead of the minus 10%, you see? So that's why this is very important. And then that synergizes later with this one here, but I never took it because I'm using a Hydrosphere. So I don't really need to take it yet. If we do something else, like if we get rid of Hydrosphere and do like, say, like Power Charge on critical spells, well, then we would take this, okay? So I went up here, and I went and got this life, and I got this, and I went down here and got the elemental damage and resists. Went around here and got more, we need more mana and strength and intelligence. And I went here in Heart of Oak. Or you know what? No, I didn't do all that. I'm sorry, I lied. I went up straight. Went around these survivalists where we got resistances and evasion, and went up, and I went straight for this leech. This leech is extremely important if you don't want to have to use any mana flasks. And you barely ever have to use a life flask. I bet we can get over just get with only one life flask if it's an instant recovery. And have actually, this one could be like a Chaos Resist flask or something else that gives you more damage. But I need something to get me unfrozen. Remember, this is just a preliminary build. After I got that skill, I went back and I got these attack speed skills where we'll get additional projectile, which isn't really important with Frost Blades. This would be really good with Molten Strike. But then I got this 5% increased attack speed per enemy in close range. Again, that is freaking massive, huge. Like, I don't understand why that's even in the game. It's huge. So there's like 10 enemies around. Like, if I whirl into it, so close range is 2 meters. Again, you have to go and read this stuff. So that's 50% increased attack speed. Now, if you were dual wielding, it'd be even better. So I do have a claw. Oh, it says I never got this point either. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm forgetting to get these points. I guess I don't really need it. So the Claw Mastery, we would get the... I think I was confused. I think I wanted to try dual wielding claws because I think this would be really good. Dual wielding claws. Because we can get that... 10% of leech is instant per... Or not that. We could get the attack speed. So if you have a claw and a shield, you want to get the life leeches instant per equipped claw. But if you have dual claw, you want the inherent attack speed doubled. So I'm starting to think that like once we get this leech, We don't even need claws anymore, because this is a lot of points. This is a lot of points, and they're not even that good. And these aren't even that impressive. The dual wielding speed is really good, but that's only good if you're dual wielding. And, you know, this build I'm using, I decided to try to use a shield to be, I wanted to go ultimate tank. And it pretty much is. I pretty much just tank everything in this build. And then I went through and then I got these points here. Got that there. And then I got the endurance charges and frenzy charges. And then I went down on this charge here because these speeds here are really nothing here. I want to always have one minimum endurance charge. And I want more endurance charge durations because that's going to give us even more damage reduction. So we'll have 4 endurance charges going. And always have one minimum endurance charge. And then we get 100% increased charge duration. So that we always have those. So I think it was worth it. I think. There might be a better way. Maybe you can let me know. To keep these endurance charges up. I'm thinking of maybe even self-casting it now. Self-casting the war cry. Right now I have it on auto-cast with call to arms. And when I double that duration, it seems like it's almost always up now. If you could think of a better way to always keep up those 4 endurance charges, let me know. There was another way that I tried to keep up the endurance charges, and that is with a frenzy endurance. So that was the skill tree. Okay, I showed you what I did with the skill tree. Now we have more points to go. Where was I going to go with these points? Well, I was going to get this life. It's going to go up and get this frenzy charge. And I think I might have went up and got the additional power charge too. Because if we're already getting 100% increased charge duration, well, we could probably try to go for get power charges too. And that'll up our crit. Yeah, so we'd get that. And then get a jewel. We'd get our jewels. I'd get this and I'd get that. And 1 point down here and get our crit chance. And then we would get this 2 points here for Defiance. Or if you want the dual wield, you can go this way. The Dwarvish. Flasks. So I have 2 life flasks. Instant. So we're getting instantly healed. And we have, you know, instantly healed bleeding or corrupted blood. And then instantly unfreezing. You want those on life flasks so you can use them multiple times. Okay. And then we have the increased damage. Onslaught. And crit chance flasks. So that's anything to increase your damage as much as possible. The gear. Or the skills, okay? So our movement skill is still Whirling Blades. Another thing I don't like is I wanted to dual wield, but instead of a shield, I wanted to dual wield a mace so that I can use Leap Slam. But they don't let you do that anymore. Like, why not? Why can't I have a claw in one hand and a mace in another and use Leap Slam? You used to be able to do that. That would have really, really, really been awesome. Because I wanted to use Leap Slam to get my endurance charges. I wanted Leap Slam, stun, and endurance charge on melee stun. Or Leap Slam, just Leap Slam, and then endurance charge on melee stun, and then faster attacks, because Leap Slam has an inherent stun built into it. So I wanted Leap Slam, stun, endurance charge, and melee stun. I was going to try the 2 to see, and then Leap Slam would have been my movement skill, plus I would have also had a blink ability. So that would have been really cool. I think that would have been better than dual claw. You just have one really powerful claw that's using the ice blades, and then something to stun and get endurance charges. Well, then you wouldn't even need the war cries or anything. You could just you hop into the group of enemies and then you'll get an endurance charge, but they changed the mechanics on me. They changed the mechanics. So I tried this frenzy, and that really didn't work as well as I wanted. It works on small packs, but on bosses, you're like not able to stun bosses. Like, you can't stun a boss. I mean, what the heck is with that? You should be able to stun a boss. So that mechanic becomes completely worthless to have even that stun mechanic, that endurance, you know, I don't like that. Like, even if you stun them for 0.001 seconds, it should still give you that stun. But the boss isn't really stunned, maybe for 1 frame. Just let him stun for 1 frame so you can get that endurance charge, you know? If you're doing an endurance charge build, you need a way to get the charges. Or else it completely negates the whole reason to get endurance charges. Anyways. So I use Whirling Blades as my movement skill. Just Whirling Blades with faster attacks. You can really just swoop around really fast. It's the best movement skill in the game, pretty much. And then I have a Blood Rage because it gives you just grants a 14% increased attack speed. Super important. For the face, I have a cast when damage taken, Steel Skin, which I don't even know if this is working proper. Let me know if this works or not. Steel Skin, Hydrosphere, which is, this was what gets their exposure. So right here it says drenched enemies get exposed. So I get their exposure, and then the other exposure says minimum exposure minus 18%. Right? And then it looks like it converts your physical damage, but we're not really doing any physical damage, so none of that applies to us. All our damage is converted to cold. And then I have elemental weakness, so that'll give them even lower resist. It's like another more multiplier on top of it. So negative 19. Well, they're negative 19 plus 18. I don't know. 17, that's 37% negative resistances right there. For the amulet, I needed strength and intelligence. So we needed intelligence to equip the claw. So I used a amulet for that. I didn't even mod it. Didn't even add like life. There's not even life on this thing. There's no life or resist. It's just accuracy, which I don't even need. I just needed those attributes so bad. Just using the crappy Crest of Paramus buckler. Great shield for the low level, but I'm level 79. So what would you want to use here? You want to use a +2 cold skill gems, so that you could put your Hatred and Herald of Ice and Ice Golem. So you would have +2 to all of those. Okay. So this build does feel like it's got a little bit of poor single target damage because we're not shocking. That shock build, just the Molten Strike just does way more damage, but this really blasts the crap out of big targets. Next thing we got, you want, more intelligence. And I found this ring while I was playing this. Holy crap. This is like the best ring I've ever found. I found 2 of them too. Hold on, let me show you guys, because I'm kind of proud of these rings. This it? Yes, this is it. I found these 2 rings. I did this one, but I didn't do this one yet. Look at it. Check out this ring. Holy crap. 20% fire and chaos resist. 21% fire resistance. 16 to all resist. Plus 14% to fire and lightning resist. All it needs is life. So I'm going to craft life onto it. Just wow. I don't know. I don't even need this one. Just wow. I mean, that is just massive amounts of resistances. It blows my mind how much resist you can get on a single ring. And it even has the chaos, because I really need the chaos resistance. But man, if that was in like the ring that had resistances, I need to remember not to keep that in that spot, guys. Normal gloves, just attack speed, life, and resists. And then if you can get some kind of additional damage on there, that works. This belt is nothing special. Just life. Looks like it's dual resist. Life, lots of life, resistances, and elemental damage with attacks. That's what you want. Even got reduced enemy stun threshold for hoping to get those endurance charges on there. It's a pretty good belt. And normal rare boots too. You got move speed, dual resistance, and life. And we got energy shield. So what I need to get is I need to put a jewel on that gives you energy shield on hit so that I can regen. So as long as you have any energy shield on you, you'll get 50%. So if you're getting energy shield on hit via a jewel, which I'm not there yet, but that's where I was going with this one. Just a little bit of energy shield, because you'll have an energy shield here. And then you can use the... You can add some more energy shield. I mean, an energy shield armor that's got just massive amounts of energy shield. Armor, I'm using Belly of the Beast. It's... What I used... This was my go-to armor. There's probably better armor out there. Notable head that I used to use was Starkanja's as well. Oh, did I go over the skills? Oh, yeah, I went over that. And then, oh, yeah, here I have casted damage taken. And I have Sigil of Power. So, Sigil of Power I'm using so that just gives you some additional lightning damage. Per hit. Okay, so that adds it to your weapon, I believe. So it just gives you a little more damage, and you don't have to do anything but stand in the center of that sigil. And then I have Call to Arms, Enduring Cry. So this is to get our endurance charges. So that leaves us this to maybe get power charges. Or we can do like an ancestral totems, Veil Haste. Just stuff to boost our character. So I want a Veil Haste. I haven't found one. I thought I had one somewhere, and I don't know what happened to all of them. They're all on my hardcore characters, and this is standard. So I don't have Veil Haste. I guess I could buy it, but I don't need it. But the build is doing fine as is without it. This is just like a starting point. So what are we using? We're using Frost Blades, faster attacks, multi-strike, Ice Bite, and elemental damage with attacks. I think Cold Penetration would be a good build, a good thing to use. I think we don't even have to use like multi-strike or faster attacks either. I think like if we want to really do some massive damage, I think we could go with like Cold Penetration, and maybe if you need survivability, you could do that elusive one, Ice Bite or whatever. You want something with a more multiplier, so maybe even power charge on critical and just go straight for the power charges, or crit multiplier. So maybe crit multiplier, or critical chance and crit multiplier. Let me know what you think. I'm going to show you how it goes. So this is just it's just a tier 1 map, but it's got a bunch of stuff. Nothing special. Monster's blind on hit, though, so that won't be good. I'm blinded already? Fine. Oh, I'm gonna skip these guys. I used all my potions there. just annihilating. So I'm not doing as much because I'm getting blinded. Got my full endurance charges, full frenzy charges. Oh, I'm pressing buttons here. Used all when you get like a rare mob, I spam all the potions. I'm pressing buttons here. That's my mouse's fault. I didn't remap the controls. And my life is just super easy. Blinded again. Holy. So the gear's not much special. You can see I don't even need the belly of the beast. Oh, I'm going into a corrupted zone. I haven't been to one of these yet. Oh, this guy's strong. He's not doing any damage to me. I mean, well, he is. Get some frenzy charges. But yeah, here's where we would need like Veil Haste. Stuff like those guys. What's that? I don't know what these guys are, but they do a... bunch of Veil gems. So I have to like read all this stuff because I have no idea what all that... Not used to it. Alright, here's the guys. Leo.
Limited talents, as you can see. Only so much you can do with a hook, and apparently this wasn't one of them. You don't need to kick a man while he's down. Just let me figure out a plan B.
I guess we'll just release him. Aisling. Where's Ailing at? I don't even know who Ailing is. Oh. I don't know what this guy's doing over here. He died? Guess I release. I have no idea.
Cool winds. Salam.
And unveil item. Well, I'm still doing this. Whoa, that guy did some damage. Two of them. I don't know what executing does and all that stuff.
You kill so good, exile. Quick and splatty. You want to be friends? Just for today. Hard to make new friends, it is.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what all that. You gotta read it, and again, that's something else you gotta read into. It looks like I don't have another Luster Jewel. Don't know what cluster jewel sockets are yet. Sure, that'll change my build. Again, added complexity that is not needed. There's enough. So here's where the single target damage.
You die rather well.
Plus we're blinded. And that's the map. Was there a boss? Oh, we gotta go up in there. Oh, and the boss is north. Let's put a portal up here, just in case something happens to me. Right.
I choose an honorable death.
Okay. Where's Haiku?
Go on, do it. You're no stranger to murder. Just make it quick.
Okay.
You honor the way by swiftly delivering. I must confess, I believe. Consider us even.
What? You didn't give me any items, bro. I should have killed him.
Hello.
Okay, now I gotta unveil him. I'll stuff.
Blessings.
Your money. Here's something that you could do without. Did that say beefy map?
I believe in traveling light.